Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, those terrorists, I'm talking about Russians, are at it again and again and again. According to the Ukrainians, the Russians are blowing up only civilian infrastructure. All right, and it's energy infrastructures and apartment buildings and kindergartens and all that. But we found out that the Ukrainians are capable of providing us with more information and a number. This article comes from Ukrinform and it's from today, the 28th of October 2022. This is the title. Russians already destroyed more than 8,000 objects in Mykolaiv region. Okay, they probably destroyed a lot of weapons and all that, right? In Mykolaiv region, Russia's attacks destroyed almost 8,300 objects, including about 6,000 residential buildings. Kirilo Timoshenko, deputy head of the president's office, said this at a briefing. Now, can you guess why they would say that? It's because it occurred, right? But what's the goal? Well, they're going to tell us. Mykolaiv, and I'm quoting, Mykolaiv region is also under attack. Russian terrorists destroyed 8,297 objects there, including 4,826 private houses and 1,155 multi-story buildings, he said. At the same time, Timoshenko informed that humanitarian aid is being delivered to the deoccupied territories of Kherson region, namely Nora, Kamyanka, Novohorivka, and Ivanivka. Ivanivka. ATMs and post terminals have started working there. Can you buy anything? According to him, the service center of the pension fund has resumed work in Visokopalia. Power supply is also being resumed. With whose money? And then they have a few pictures here that you can go and look of buildings that were blown up. I do not have any way of verifying that's where it is and whatever they show over there, but I believe them to a certain extent. I don't think that this kind of destruction does not occur. It certainly occurs. I just question the intensity. That's what I also question many things, historical events. I don't question their validity. I question the numbers. I question how great, how big they are. So when they tell me, well, let's say at Normandy there were, 300,000 people when they landed. Well, I don't know, if you maybe go in 1946, they're going to give you a different number. Now in 52, they're going to give you a number and so on. Now, again, with many other historical events. Not that they didn't occur, but I think the numbers are just inflated and deflated according to what kind of narrative is pushed. Like, for instance, let's get the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union, first I think it was, they died about, 10 million citizens of Soviet Union. I don't want to call them Russians because they were not only Russians, right? There were Ukrainians, there were many other nationalities. So, and then from there they got to about 40 million or something, little by little. And you can say, well, you know what? It's just that they found more evidence. I don't deny that. But I'm just trying to point out that it's this trend to get more and more and more in that and less and less and less in other areas. And here the narrative goes like this and has been pushed from the day one of this invasion operation. Russians are animals and they do not deserve the respect of a human being. They said it before. I made a video on that. Now that's one thing. It was on One Weasel, Ukrainian guy that was in top. I can remember on top. I can't remember who's not on the bottom. I can't remember his name, but he was not of the four guys in charge. So they try to portray Russia in a certain way. It's been like this forever. It's not the Ukrainians or the Americans who are probably in charge of the public relations department for Ukraine, I'm again very much inclined to have a gut feeling on that one, which is them running the public relation aspect of Zelensky. When you see all these pictures and all these videos with Zelensky and all these shadows, look at the lights, those lights, and look when you see a picture of Zelensky, he's always like me. He's like, what kind of? Look at the lights. Those lights were not over there just because they are. They are placed over there to cut his face into, shade here, light here, or kind of from up down, from down up, from up down. It depends. They work with that, and if you pay attention to that, you're gonna see everything, the angle, it's not like, oh, let's take a picture of him. Click, we're gonna post that. No. Wait, no, look a little bit higher. Okay, the head to the left. Okay, now look a little bit like you're upset, I don't know, you took a shit and you're still upset about it. Something like that. Just kidding. But no, just pay attention. They're a very much act. It's an act. So they try to portray these guys as terrorists, and some of them might be. I mean, that's a war. People act according to their feelings during a war, not according to the orders. And maybe even the orders could be, and I'm pretty sure are, criminal. Some of them are like, just blow that civilian house and get over it. Don't waste, oh my God, there's some people over there, what should we do? Because you risk losing people. You say, no, use a tank, blow that building, and we move on. Don't try to get and try to shoot and, hey, surrender, and you get shot at and you die. Some of your personnel dies, you lose resources and you lose time. Tank, boom, bong, move on. 100% that occurs in wars. So I don't want to break the news here and make everybody upset, but that's what happens. And just roll over it. Boom. That's it. So yes, and it's not only one-sided, it's both sides. Remember, if you remember, or if you read, for instance, how the Kaiser in the First World War, Wilhelm the Second or the Third, I can't remember what number was there. I think Wilhelm was the one. They portrayed the Kaiser as being a tyrant and all this, with blood, with axes and so on. And the same thing was with the other side, and in those times with the newspapers. And then you got Hitler, and then you got this and that and that. That's how it works. You have to keep the population on your side. And how do you do that? Portray them as your enemy, being like Huns. That was the word used in the Second World War, and I think in the First World War, the Huns. The Huns are coming back, which means whatever. So yeah, that's all this narrative that the Russians, but only the Russians, are despicable, and they do just destroyed, as they say here, 6,000 and blah 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 civilian objectives. Maybe so. I can verify that. The only thing, I just believe these guys, which I don't. But at least, if they say 6,000 something, I will take it to about, I don't know, maybe 800. That's how I would get it, based on the verified information after the fact. When you find out that someone did this, and then you find out, wait a second, maybe it was not like that. We have to minimize it a little bit, because they want to maximize it here, so they can portray this as criminals of war, terrorist state, and all that. Why? So they can rally their little group together, keep it together, of little countries, weasels, so the big boss can say, see, we are exceptional right here. They are the bad guys. And whoever runs with a bad guy is a bad guy by association, right? So then you don't want to do that, because we're going to, at United Nations, with all their sanctions and all this, because we're the good guys. We don't do anything wrong. Yeah, okay. So this is it. The Russians are destroying only, or at least a lot of targets that are civilian, and they're the terrorists. You got that? Well, that's what the article was meant to give us. And I didn't buy it a bit. Thank you very much. I'm not denying the existence. I deny the, but you say, well, wait a minute. If you kill 2 people, it's not the same thing as killing 5 people. No, it's not the same. I mean, you can put it on the same scale, being a crime. I agree with that. But one thing when you say, I killed 3 people and I killed 1,000, right? And I make the exaggeration so it can make sense. And I know it makes. So yeah. And then you make this as a pattern. Obviously, that country is a criminal country and a terrorist country. There you go. Put a stamp and send it over. So the same here. But the other country, never destroys nothing. No, they just their rockets are just pinpointed. You know why? Because they're made by certain manufacturers, and those arm manufacturers are fantastic. And please support them. Pay tax for those guys. Yeah. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.